Going to the Badlands was the logical thing to start with, to start my trip, because I have been living in Minnesota for many years, so I was not particularly attracted to the idea of going east for many different reasons, and I really feel the West as as a more interesting place for the things I like geology and so many other things. So, without thinking too much about it, I decided, okay, I'm going to fight off the stress by just going and just going around at my own pace, no rush, no commitments of any kind, just going. So, and driving to the Badlands was like the most obvious choice. So I did set course from Minneapolis to the Badlands, but I decided to break it in kind of half. So my first overnight was at Owatonna in South Dakota. There is a teeny little place there where you can overnight. It's where you can boondock. You don't pay anything to be there, and it's quite nice. So my first night in the wild was very successful. That was the first experience. It was kind of testing the waters with the whole boondocking idea, and that was very, very, very nice. From there, the following day, I started driving towards Wool, South Dakota. And even if you read, if you see comments about a place, nothing ever prepares you like the actual experience. And one of the things that surprised me before I even got there was the enormous emptiness of South Dakota. And you have to wonder, why is it that this area is not more populated? Why is it that there are so very few people here? And the teeny towns that are there are really teeny. Why? And I think the answer is the weather and the environment. It is quite unfriendly, just because those prairies are so flat and there is nothing to stop the wind. The wind is a presence to reckon with. It's just amazing. Well, there are many windmills, and that gives you the clue that something is with that. And the first night in Wool, South Dakota, it was super scary because a huge storm rolled on, and it was very scary. Shout out to the people of the gas station there getting into Wool, Conoco. They allowed me to park overnight at their gas station, which was a big save for me. It was fantastic. It was scary. but then you go learning that the wind is a constant presence, so you get used to it. I think I had a little bit of a headache every now and then, and it might be because of that continuous blowing in your ears of the wind. But it was amazing. The little town of Wool is famous because of their drugstore. So, as in any other town in history, everywhere in the world, every town has a drugstore, right? And the couple who owned that drugstore many years ago. I think it was founded in 1931, but don't quote me because I always confuse those numbers. Um, she came with the idea of offering free ice water and 5-cent coffee, which you can still get. If you buy a donut, you can have a nice coffee for 5 cents. So I really appreciate when people have that imagination for business, and I am happy when they succeed because they do deserve to succeed. And of course, nowadays that store is a huge kind of museum and attraction store and everything. I mean, like in any fast food kind of restaurant. The donuts, I didn't care too much about them because they are a little cakey, and I prefer the other ones, the not so cakey ones. But everything is decent, and they do sell all sorts of t-shirts and souvenirs of all kinds, and it's just very colorful, and they have their own dinosaur show and so many other things. It's like one of those over the board, over the top imaginations was in charge of just collecting things there. And you walk around that place, and there are so many things to see, and I appreciate that. You can, in the restaurant, you can fit something like almost 600 people, and it's divided in different areas, but it's all the same thing. So the food is okay. I am all in favor of people who manage their way with the resources they have. Their best resource is tourism, and they capture your attention, which is great. Big shout out to them. I would say if you're in a pinch, give yourself 3 or 4 hours to do the circuit because it is worth it. I stayed there for about a little over a week, probably 10 days. And every day I had something different to see, depending on how the sun shines, whether it is the sunset or the sunrise, whether you are in one place or another. Those mounds, they change colors. They are impressive. They are very impressive, and the grassland is the last 2% of actual original grassland that still exists. So you gain a lot of respect for the area. They are called the Badlands because it is very difficult to traverse them. You get lost very easily there. Everything looks more or less the same. But also, if it rains, you get stuck in that clay that is the soil. I don't know, it's just a very strange place. And the opportunity for photography is huge. You have to be careful with photographers because they just stop anywhere with huge cameras and huge lenses. And when I say huge, I saw a guy that could barely put his in order to work. And then you have people who gather there to look at the stars at night. I don't know. I think everybody goes with a sense of this is amazing. This is nature at its best. And it's something we don't get to see on a regular basis. On the other hand, the fauna, the animals there, they're very particular. I mean, bison, yes. And when you first come across your first bison, it humbles you. It's such a magnificent beast animal. And they are big and heavy, but they are still very playful. And I was fascinated by the symbiosis between bison and birds, because bison kind of pulls the grass out of the soil. And of course, I suppose that uncovers a lot of insects, and birds are always there feasting on those little insects that bison reveals or bison pulls out of the earth for them. So it was beautiful to see them working together. It was really nice. Dog prairies, they are so cute and they're so weird, and you just pay attention to them because it's just what you have to do. Such a beautiful. And then I don't know, the sheep and all the animals there, they are all interesting. They are not animals you see everywhere else. Well, yes, of course, in other national parks, but coming from Minneapolis, you don't see those type of animals there. And it was a fantastic experience. Again, if you have time, you can stay there for days and days and days, and it feels comfortable. You can drive for hours in those grasslands, and the landscape is fantastic all the time. Let me know in comments what part of the Badlands you didn't like or you did love. So, and please consider subscribing. Please hit the bell so you know when I upload another video. And I'll see you soon.